What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the VSO Gun Channel. Thanks for joining us here today. Today's video is going to be another video for our new to firearms crowd, and I suppose it could probably also double for those of you who have owned an AK-47 for a while and didn't realize that they actually need to clean the son of a bitch. This video is going to be exactly that, which is how to disassemble and clean an AK-47, and there's going to be a few things in here that those of you who have done it before may not know that are going to help you not get bit. So for anybody who doesn't know, an AK-47 can absolutely injure you while you're taking it apart to clean and lube it or anything of that nature, swap out parts. And today we're going to show you how to avoid that. So without further ado, we're going to hop right into it. Enjoy. The first step in taking down your AK is to remove the dust cover, and to do that we need to depress the recoil assembly spring that sticks through the dust cover. Hold the dust cover to the rear and remove it, and then to remove the recoil assembly we simply push forward on the recoil assembly and lift up, and it will come out under its own power. Next we're going to remove the bolt carrier and bolt. To do that we just grip the bolt carrier, pull it to the rear until it stops, lift up, and then continue to retract, and we've gotten all the guts out of the gun. Now we're going to go for the trigger components. We need to remove those to be able to sweep out the bottom of the receiver as well as clean the components individually. To do that, we're going to pull up on the safety selector and rotate it until it passes the receiver. Once the selector is perpendicular with the receiver, it should be able to come out with a small tug to the outboard of the receiver. The safety selector acts as the retaining pin for the axis pin retaining plate, and this may also be replaced in some guns by a paper clip. If you have a paper clip gun, I'm sorry. In order to remove the remaining tension on the retaining plate, simply allow the hammer to ride forward gently. Don't just pull the trigger and let it fall. It can bend the pin in the front, if done repeatedly. Once that is done, you should be able to jiggle the retaining plate free with any kind of tool. Here I'm using a punch. Screwdriver will work, but it should come right out and allow you access to the rest of the parts. The next step is going to be to release the tension on the hammer spring, and this is where typically we get bit. I have a little bit of a trick for you guys. What you want to do is lift each of the wings of the trigger spring and place them behind the hammer. As you can see, this is a relatively precarious position and could definitely lead to getting smacked in the fingers. So we're going to go ahead and get a special tool that'll help us later. It's going to be loud. Yes, that's right, a 12 gauge shotgun hull. Go ahead and place it over the hammer and the two wings of the spring to retain them as one solid piece. This will be important here in a second when we go to remove it. With the tension relieved, we should be able to push on the hammer axis pin. It should come right out. And now we can rotate that whole assembly and get it out of the receiver. As you can see, if it wasn't retained, it would probably blow up all over the place. A little bit of injury, gnashing of teeth, that sort of thing. With the tension of the torsional spring of the hammer off of the trigger components, we can now push on the trigger retaining axis pin and be able to get all of those components out. Now, as far as lubrication is concerned, we'll start with a bolt. Here you can see all the surfaces that you need to lube, which are the primary and secondary locking lugs, the shaft of the bolt, and the cam lug. Going to the bolt carrier group, there is a channel here where the cam lug rides. You should probably put some lube on that. And from this view, we can see the channel in which the bolt rides, probably some lubrication there, as well as the two channels that the rails on the receiver ride in. Throw some lube in that. Moving on to the receiver, in this shot we can see all the surfaces that we need to lube in the receiver. Those include the top and bottom surfaces of the left and right rails, and the primary and secondary locking lugs on the trunnion. Just an FYI, if you wanted to take down the bolt further and do some inspection of like the extractor or anything like that, clean it more thoroughly, then there are two pins that you need to access. One of those pins retains the firing pin, the other pin retains the extractor. All right, guys and gals, well, that about wraps up our synopsis on how to disassemble and clean and lube an AK-47. For those of you who have never done it, or maybe just haven't done it in a long period of time, and maybe need a little bit of a refresher. I'm going to admit that this video is actually a little bit of an insert video that I've kind of cobbled together to fill some space because I'm a little bit behind. I've got several projects that are taking me a lot longer to finish than I thought they were going to, including the ODS 1775 5,000 round test. But we've got a lot of carbon there, and actually we're at the point now where I feel like we're going to need to start scraping that carbon to be able to get the suppressor to mount properly. And you guys can guess that because we used that video, or used that rifle in this video today for our disassembly, that we're getting pretty close to finishing that one. Hopefully it'll be out here pretty soon. I'm also working on another AK right now. This is the Accutech, and it's pretty different as well, so be looking out for that one. While I got you here, I thought that there were really two more things that we should talk about cleaning and lubing the AK. And those are the questions. Well, Kurt, how often do I clean it and how much? And we'll start with how much. I'm going to refer you back to the AR-15 video that we did, an interactive card, link in the description, that sort of thing, about that clean. Some people that like sit there with squeaky clean guns that never shoot are going to lose their mind over this. Maybe a little bit less because it's an AK-47, but these guns are designed to run for a long period of time without needing a whole lot of tender loving care, as long as you keep them lubricated. Now that said, how often? I'm going to say you do a clean like this about 1,500 rounds approximately. Once a year, or about every 5,000 rounds, you should probably strip the gun down and do a super detailed clean down to the metal to keep the gun running most efficiently. That's what my suggestion to you would be. Your mileage may vary. That's how I treat my guns, even though how I treat my guns may not be how you treat your guns. I treat my guns like any other tool. I don't wash my hammer when I'm done using it every single time, but if I get it like really jacked up, I might wipe it down. That sort of thing. I don't clean my screwdrivers on a regular basis. I don't clean my AK-47 on a regular basis. Again, your mileage may vary. If you guys found this video interesting and informative, please smash that subscribe button down below, share it around, tell all your friends about us, and hopefully we'll see you guys on a future video here at the VSO Gun Channel.